Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank. Busey, your dream, our promise. Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Winnett, and I'm joined now by Dan Lobus and Duncan Simonson from the Conservation Foundation. So welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you. Dan, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about the Conservation Foundation, where you're located.
Sure. The Conservation Foundation, we're a private, nonprofit organization located right here in Naperville. And our mission is to preserve and restore land, improve rivers and streams, and promote stewardship of our environment. Basically, everybody has a right to clean air, clean water, places to play, and enjoy nature.
You guys have been doing that for a good long while, and some wonderful, wonderful programs here throughout DuPage County.
Right. We work primarily in DuPage, Kane, Kendall, and Will Counties.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, talk a little bit about the Green Earth Institute, because I know you've recently merged with them. So tell us a little bit about why.
Sure. That's a great question. Our offices are located on the McDonald Farm, which is at the south end of Naperville. It's a 60-acre farm that we have owned since 1992. For many years, it had been managed by the Kellers, which was a local farm family. And about 17 years ago, they packed up and moved away to Plainfield. And so one of our members, Steve Tiwald, stepped forward and said, could he lease the farm and put an organic produce operation on the farm? We thought that was a great idea. He has built a great community-supported agriculture program that now feeds more than 500 families.
That's wonderful.
And we've worked so well together, and their mission fits our mission very, very well. So Steve wanted to retire and thought could be in no better hands than the Conservation Foundation.
That's wonderful. What a wonderful story, bringing that kind of full circle, right?
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
So Duncan, talk a little bit about why organic is so important.
I like to think of organic as it starts with the soil. So good soil yields good vegetables. And we avoid the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides, in addition to never using GMOs. Instead of doing that, we build the soil up in order to, through the use of cover crops and soil amendments. Having good soil creates good vegetables, which in turn creates healthy people, and from that we get healthy communities.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there's all the environmental benefits of creating habitat for pollinators, such as birds, bees, and butterflies, and also rainwater retention.
So it's just more, it's really from the foundation up, it's just more sustainable, it's better for us, we're not adding things into the food that we eat, right?
Exactly.
That weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
Yes.
So when you think about that, Dan, talk a little bit about why then people should purchase their vegetables from the Conservation Foundation and perhaps maybe not from their grocery store.
When you think about it, there are two reasons. First is environmental sustainability. They say that the average distance traveled from farm to grocery store is 1,500 miles. And that's for any produce, even organic produce. With the Green Earth program, you can buy fresh organic produce from a farm just a few miles away. So there's a lot of trucks and diesel fuel that doesn't have to be burnt, in order to get the produce to your table. The second really has to do with trust and comfort. With this program, you get to know who's growing your food. You get to know the faces behind the food. And you can ask the farmers questions. You get to visit the fields when they're growing. You can even come to our 1850s barn to pick up your produce. It's what a feeling, coming off of Knock Knolls Road onto a gravel drive, passing the vegetable fields, and driving up to this 1850s barn. You can't get that anywhere else in the area.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's part of, I would think, too, the popularity of the more farm-to-table movement
Absolutely.
and people really wanting to know what's inside their food and
Right.
all of that kind of stuff. And then the whole concept of shop local, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it kind of does all of those pieces.
Yeah.
So, Duncan, as you're doing that, and you've got this thing called the Community Supported Agriculture Program, right? So, which is a little bit what you're talking about, but say more on that, if you would.
Sure. I mean, simply it's sharing the risks and rewards of the season with the farm. So customers buy into the farm before their produce is even grown, and they get the opportunity to come to the farm to get fresh, local, organic produce for a predetermined amount of time. In any given season, we're growing over 60 crops and 200 varieties.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
seeing as we never know what the weather's going to give us in any given season, there are going to be certain crops that do spectacularly, and there's going to be some that don't do well at all. And, the benefits go to those shareholders.
Okay, so talk a little bit, if you would, about the share, because I think this is a very interesting concept. We always think about it, right, in terms of business. But you're talking about purchasing a share of this program. So how does that work?
Right.
What is a share?
A share is basically a share of the harvest any given week. So you perhaps you come to the farm and you pick up, what is it, 3/4 of a bushel or whatever of whatever's ready that week. So it varies from week to week, and everybody gets to share in the rewards of this community-supported agriculture program. Most of the people, do come to the farm, but we do have drop-off locations in Hinsdale, Lombard, and
Winfield.
Winfield.
Okay,
There we go.
so I can purchase a share,
Yes.
and then I get a percentage, if you will, for lack of a
Right.
better term,
Sure.
of whatever is coming up in the farm that week.
That's
Now,
right.
would I have to buy a full year? You talked about 3 seasons, right? Do I have to buy all 3 seasons?
So you don't have to buy all 3 seasons. You can choose. So we do our main season, which is 20 weeks. It starts in mid-June and runs through the end of October. And that's where we have the most availability, and that's where we grow the most produce. In addition to that, we also have a spring share, which is 4 weeks in the beginning, which is mid-May until mid-June. And those are all mostly early greens. And late fall, we do a lot of the storage crops. And that's
Okay.
in the last that goes up until Thanksgiving
Okay.
from the end of October.
Okay, and how many shares do we have available?
So we're selling for the fall share right now, and they're selling fast. It's super popular this year. So we only have about 20 shares left.
Okay.
And you can go to our website in order to order.
Okay.
But there's always next year.
Isn't that the wonderful thing about the farm? It will be
really
there
is.
next year.
That's right.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and it's so fascinating to hear about what you're doing and continued success for that merger. That's always exciting to see 2 local places coming together for the benefit of us all. So thank you for that.
Great.
If you would like to find out more about the Conservation Foundation's Community-Supported Agriculture Program, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.